Whoa, hey, hi. Sorry, I just got caught off guard there. Usually there's a pause before I hit the button and it starts streaming, but okay, I will continue. Hello, world. I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is another live video on YouTube in this channel. The LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use. It's a Friday, which I'm very excited about. I've been very much looking forward to this weekend. It's been a jam-packed week full of all sorts of new stuff, videos that many of you have been appreciating, new things for patrons, and today, being Friday, is the AMA. So I'm here to answer your questions. Of course, the patrons who have pledged at least $5 a month or more get priority, and that link was sent out to them. I would say we've been having a good go of it. And so I've got a chat room here. I'm not sure if it's going to be staying there indefinitely or just today. I tried to bump up the font size because even I was having issues reading it, but that unfortunately truncated some people's names. It looks like Andrew corrected that. I have to reverse the polarity. No, not polarity. I can't do that. I can't reverse polarity. I had to reverse the colors on the screen because dark text with a white background just does not work very well at all. And so it's something I'm trying, and thank you for bearing with me through this whole experience. I have a little comic here. It's a little product view, a Justice League comic, a very tiny comic. Joe Blau sent this, and we received it today. Thank you. Joe also sent Diana.
Oh, some beautiful flowers. Well, seeds.
Which will turn into flowers, we hope.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're seeds for something else.
Well,
Are they?
We'll have to test out my green thumb.
No, it's not green.
It might be.
No, let me see it. Let me see your thumb. Pink. So, here we go. Before I dive too deeply into this, why is there always such a huge delay on the live stream? The internet. We can't stop that from happening. I did post this image link last night, or actually, sorry, just the image, not just the link, for transparency. A lot of people see our patron page and say, wow, this is amazing. Like, well, you got to understand, we've got a team of people. It's not just me. But there's huge discrepancies in numbers. For anybody who might be curious to know, this graphic, which was shared in social last night, puts it pretty, in black and white, and a little bit of color. It paints a pretty clear picture as to why ads don't necessarily work for content creators like me. And I put a finer point on in that graphic. Wanted to make sure that everyone saw that. Same videos, different value. There, I've said that. I will get back to that at some point in the insanely near future. But I want to jump into some questions. Number one, do you think Google will be compromised by Apple's new iOS updates? Well, Emmanuel, let me see if I can try to structure this in maybe not a better way, but let me try to re-explain what you're asking, or try to guess what you're asking exactly. I think Google could be helped insanely by Apple's updates. I mean, you got to consider Google's got a different business model, and not a lot of people really understand this, and I've explained it like a zillion times, so I don't want to beat a dead horse again. I've beaten so many dead horses in my life, and I'm just tired of beating dead horses, honestly. I'm tired of beating anything. But Google's got a different business model. This is why Google has no problem when they, Apple comes out with an update necessarily, because I've got Google Apps installed on my phone. Why? Because Google Apps can run anywhere that Google Apps can run. Google doesn't care. I mean, would they want you on their platform? Sure, why not? Who wouldn't? But at the same time, why does Google have apps for iOS, but Apple doesn't necessarily have apps for Android? You got to think about the business models, folks. Different business models. Apple's not an internet company. They never have been, and they probably never will be. That doesn't mean that they don't rely on internet services. And while on the surface, an Android phone may work a lot like an Apple phone, or I'm sorry, an Android phone may work a lot like an iOS phone. Are you with me, hon? Mm-hmm. Okay. They're different business models altogether. So, Google can release apps for iOS and be fine with it. Hey, if you're using Google Chrome on iOS, they don't care. You're using Google Chrome. So, if anything, with the addition of all these new features, including extensibility of applications on iOS, I think Google could actually be helped by iOS. Now, apart from some updates that may mirror the features in Android, like widgets in the notification center, the ability to swap out keyboards, Apple may be trying to address some power user needs as to why they may have flipped over to Android rather than staying within Apple's ecosystem. And some people may end up switching back to iOS or be happier with iOS with those new features. Google, on the other hand, I think, again, different business model, and I can't see Google as doing anything but benefiting from extending their availability of software on iOS, just like Microsoft has benefited by releasing Office for iPad before it's even released a touch-optimized version of Office for its own platforms. So you just gotta remember that, and I wish I could beat everybody over the skull profusely, in a kind way, like with a soft bat, like a Nerf bat or something like that. See, do you understand different business models? Stop it! Stop it! I'm not advocating violence unless, of course, someone is being stupid. Intentionally. And people get it through their skulls. Sorry, I get frustrated because I understand that Google has a different business model. But someone else who believes that the world, or the sun, rises and sets around Google, doesn't quite understand that Google has a different business model. Even though they should, because they love Google more. This is why it's okay for you to use Google Chrome on iOS or OS X. This is why it's okay for you to use Office on an iPad. This is okay. This is why it's okay for you to use the forthcoming iCloud Drive on Windows. So there's different reasons that each company exists. And just because they have products in the same space does not mean that they are the same type of companies with the same type of business models. Why do you think Google's been able to unleash Android for anybody to do anything they wanted with it? Well, theoretically, they couldn't necessarily belong to AOSP or use Android in alliance, or I guess in alignment with Google's services. Amazon was able to take Android, fork it, use it to its own use it to its own ends through its own means. That's why Amazon's using Android, but it's not Android. It's Fire OS, but it's pretty much Android. Different business models, same space. And the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense. Especially when my face shows up behind me in an inverted fashion. So someone could do an animated GIF of flipping the color, foreground, background, foreground, background. Didn't you guys miss chat? So, I don't know if Google's going to be compromised. I think they may lose some Android fans. Oh, okay, so they won't lose fans. They may lose some Android users. But I think, honestly, if you want my opinion, I think Google will lose more to Samsung switching to Tizen than they'll lose to Apple improving iOS through iOS 8. So I think there's, it's my gut. It's what it tells me. I'm not necessarily an analyst. Maybe I'm a pundit. It's just that I understand how each company operates and how each company works. How do you think I'm fine with how each company moves and why each company does what they do? I don't live inside of one ecosystem alone. Because each one has its own benefits and certainly its drawbacks. So, no, I think Apple's new iOS updates will probably benefit Google if they improve their apps further. They've kind of worked around the system with Google Apps, so now I can just log in on one Google app, and that login will go and transfer between all the other aware Google apps, so that it's just easier. I wish there were system-level Google authentication services, so that I didn't have to keep logging in and in like you do with Twitter and Facebook and Flickr. Who uses Flickr anymore? I do, kind of, sometimes. Not really. Cassie Lowe asks, how did Wicket and Pixie become a part of your family? Were they rescues, purchased from a breeder, etc.? Well, it's a long story. They're 10 years old. They were adopted from what I believe, even though they weren't from a traditional rescue environment, I believe they were effectively rescued from a bad situation. So they were adopted and have been, part of my life for 10 years, part of Diana's life for what feels like 10 years. You like that?
And they act like they're one.
But they're still puppies, that's why. So they were adopted, but not like a traditional rescue. But I do believe they were originally rescued. So Reese Langham, and by the way, they're brother and sister. Not Reese and Cassie, Wicket and Pixie. Reese Langham asks, when Apple released iOS 8 earlier this week, this is apparently on patrons' minds here, this iOS 8 thing. Perhaps the one thing I was most surprised about was legacy device support. How do you think iOS 8 will run on the iPad 2? Well, first, before I continue, let me make sure I mention, in case it wasn't clear, the link to this chat room is in the patron bonuses document, which all the patrons have access to, all 800 and some odd of them. The 860-something. We'll get to it in the middle of this broadcast. Yeah. But anyway, so as a part of the live series, the chat room right now has been open 24/7. I'm not necessarily involved in it in every step of the way. It's primarily here for the live videos, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So, how will iOS 8 run on the iPad 2? I would hope it would run well, or at least well enough. And I think it's important for iOS 8 to run on the iPad 2, even if it doesn't carry all the values or I guess services or features that it might carry with a newer release of the iPad. And of course, we'd expect to see better hardware with the next version of the iPad, etc. But going all the way back to the iPad 2, a lot of people have iPad 2s, or the second gen iPad. Apple was selling them up until recently, and I think it's great for iOS 8 to be supported on that model, if only for one reason and one reason alone. I've talked about Apple TV. Love Apple TV. To me, it's a must-have. If you own a single iOS device in your house, just one iOS device, you should also own an Apple TV for one reason and one reason alone. AirPlay. I love AirPlay. AirPlay is so simple, so easy. But the challenge with AirPlay is that you have to be on the same network as AirPlay. So I can have this phone here, and I can be, let's say I'm visiting Diana in her house. Now, granted, she doesn't have we're role-playing right now. I'm going over to Diana's house. I'm like, hey, Diana. And she goes,
hey, Chris.
Hey, I got a video to show you on my phone, but I want to put it on your Apple TV. Is that okay?
Yeah, come on in.
So then I walk in.
Do you want a cookie and some lemonade?
No, but I'll take a beer and some bacon. Thanks. And so I'm trotting over. She's preparing the beer and the bacon. I'm like, oh, hun, what is your wireless network password? And she says, I don't know, is what she says. That's what you say.
That's the password?
No, that's not the password.
Oh.
You say, she says, I can't remember. I didn't set it up. My brother set it up for me because he's awesome, geeky guy, Hector, and he's cool. And so I was like, oh, well, how am I going to display this video on your Apple TV? And she says, I don't know. And then we break up because this is just a deal breaker. My girlfriend, by the way, she's not my girl. We're role playing, hon.
Yeah.
If my girlfriend didn't know her Wi-Fi password, that's a breakup. That's automatic. And so it would destroy lives. Just think about that. So iOS 8 has the ability for an iOS device to connect to another iOS device peer-to-peer. Instead of having to be on the same network now, which may be locked down by a network administrator, maybe someone lost a password, etc., I could effectively walk into a room with an iOS device like my iPhone or iPad, and if an Apple TV's there and it's updated to the latest software revision, they could communicate to each other without being on the same network. Bam! So suddenly educators who have these iPad 2s out there, get back to that point, they don't have to worry about going through the network anymore. Apple TV is now the presentation tool. Why would you get an overhead projector anymore? Why would you use anything like that if you've got the iPad and an Apple TV? So the Apple TV, I think, is going to replace a lot of presentation systems, if only because of that feature alone. It's super, super cheap, 99 bucks. Great impulse buy. If you have an iOS device, it's even more of a bargain. So the peer-to-peer functionality in iOS 8, enabling the ability to connect to an AirPlay device like an Apple TV, it makes it a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. And so the fact that iPad 2s will have that or should have that enabled makes it even more of a no-brainer than it was before. So that's why I don't know how it's going to run, but I can tell you likely why Apple is baking in support for iOS 8 all the way back to the iPad 2, because so many of them are out there and probably being used in education, and they become more and more affordable as time goes on because, newer generation hardware comes out, et cetera, et cetera. It only takes one person. Bacon and beer. Oh, well, someone's... it's kind of fun. Yeah. They realize they have to reverse the image for it to show up properly. So, I like doing this kind of stuff. It's kind of fun.
They're
okay.
on it.
Yes. Now be careful about spamming. Be careful about spamming. See, be careful. Now see, it's kind of relevant. No, he's a patron. Yeah. So that's okay. I think it's okay, and it's relevant to the conversation somewhat. But you gotta be careful. Don't want to spam. Someone the other day was like saying, "Follow me here, follow me here."
Yeah.
It's like, let's be careful about that. I don't want to do that because I want it to be supportive for the people watching. I don't want to feel like So I think we're good. We good? We're simpatico. All right. But I think that's valuable. How to install OS 10.10 Yosemite.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. I'll have to take a look at that link though.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of interested now. God, I'm titillated.
Me too.
Don't tweet that, please. Oh my God, Chris Pirillo is titillated. Adam Toms asks, "Hey Chris, plus Diana, you're included on this. Now that smartphones are more the norm as opposed to traditional cell phones, what do you see as the next big revolution in mobile devices in terms of hardware or software?"
You go first.
To me, I think it's bridging the gap between myself and my identity and presence in the real world. Right now, there's a massive disconnect between me, this device, and like interoperating with things around me. And there are apps that certainly can be installed to make things easier. But okay, case in point. Let's say I walk into a store and they say, "Do you have a frequent rewards card? Do you, and they have you purchased here before?" I'm like, I don't know. I know I did, but I don't have any of that information. Why doesn't the smartphone tell me? Why doesn't the app tell me? And in some cases, it does. I mean, one of the reasons why I like going to Starbucks on a regular basis, number one, because we've got like a massive amount of gift cards for, doing the whole next door giveaway thing. Which, by the way, we gave a lot of people $50 gift cards for Starbucks. So you guys had a chance when they were doing that. Now they're giving away Amazon gift cards. You guys want gift cards, right? I just assume you do. Either way, look at the links in this video description to earn a ton of gift cards, except for one link I gotta tell people about. This is one, I got 4 eBay gift cards right here. 4. And I have to give them out to at least 4 of you.
Before I spend them.
No, you can't qualify. We did the eBay video in this channel last night, and there's another one coming out in a few more days, and I got to give away these gift cards. So I'm giving away tons of gift cards. Check the links in the video description. Either way, Starbucks has got an app where, boop, okay, now it's credited, and I just don't have to worry about it. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to manage, and this phone becomes more valuable to me than my wallet. Right now, here's a credit card. Here's this, here's that. And handing a credit card over to someone I don't know, like they could scan, they could copy, you don't know what they're going to do. Versus like this phone authentication system where it's like, no, this is me. I'm authorizing this as a charge. And I think smartphones could go a long way to tying our identity, ourselves, cutting off any availability of fraud to happen, and just making it easier to deal with quote-unquote real life. So that's the way I'd answer. As Diana begins to answer, I'm going to flip through the list of patrons to make sure they get the credit that they deserve as people who've been very, very supportive of our endeavors. You can become a patron today. 868 of them. This is the new spreadsheet to give credit to those who deserve the credit. And you can easily become a part of this if you want. It's easy to do. ChrisPirillo.com. Okay, hon, you answer the question as I continue to let this flip.
Well, your answer was great. I'll add on to that because I know right now there's a lot of voting fraud. So wouldn't it be awesome if you could just take your phone and they know it's you? You can answer me.
Oh, yes, sorry. Well, I was trying to make it kind of entertaining for the people watching.
And the next thing would be cool, would be like any picture you see, whether it's on Instagram or, girl, guy, anything, any picture, you can like click on their clothes or accessory and buy it instantly.
I think they have apps for that.
They do? But don't you have to be like...
And by the way...
into...
Yeah, well, you probably... they'd have to tie into things, but I wouldn't want that.
You wouldn't?
No.
Why?
Well, impulse buys. Think about it. I don't want any app developer out there. Just listen to me. I don't want any app that allows for one-tap clicks of clothes. Diana does.
Or food.
Food, oh my god. Oh, no, that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to eat? Tap, and then it magically shows up on your door.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be cool. I'd like that.
Yep.
So, what else would you like in a smartphone, hon? She's more of a normie. You gotta understand. I don't mean to, that's not I don't mean it as offensive when I say normie, as opposed to geeks. Geeks will respond differently.
That's true. I would also like to see easier access, like getting rid of passwords.
Yes!
I would love that. Do you know how many times I have to change my password?
Yes, I do. And I keep telling you, use 1Password for management, hon.
Yeah. True.
1Password. That's the one to use.
Yeah.
What else do you want in a smartphone?
I would also love to be able to track it. Like, if I forget it somewhere, like it beeps at me or it comes back to me like a little puppy.
What? Okay, I understand what you're saying, but Find My Phone. There's also the Android device finder.
Sometimes you don't know you lost it until you're...
Well, they actually have, like, well, you have to have a case or something around it, but basically when you walk 10 feet away, it'll go boop, 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 because you have to have two devices, two objects. And I think, and here's the thing, for an iPhone it makes sense, for an Android device it makes sense.
What about if we're sitting at a table, like at a bar, because this happened to my brother's friend, and as you're sitting there talking to someone, he secretly takes your phone.
Sorry, yes, he secretly
and puts it, and it's in his pocket, shuts it off.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, in the next iOS revision, what they've done is Find My Phone will track the last location that it was turned on or turned off. So you've got remote features that can be toggled. Apple's done a better job at curbing theft. I don't think they've gone far enough. I don't know. Hopefully they will, but I'd say that about any manufacturer.
Yeah, because they ended up tracking it, and it was in a dorm room of like 1,000 dorm rooms. So
well,
no way.
But Apple's getting better at getting the precise location of a device, including floors.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like precise. Even like a little camera comes out and looks around.
But that happens. Some people steal phones and it's still tied into someone else's iCloud account, and they'll be using the phone and it'll take a picture, or they'll take a selfie of themselves or whatever, and it'll go to their iCloud, so they've got a picture of it. I mean, I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. So I think some of the stuff Diana's talking about is available, but it's not intuitive. It's not built in. It's not yet truly easy, truly simple. So there's an answer to that question. I thought that was a pretty damn good question. Looking forward to the future of things. Now, here's another product for you. Brefo sent me something that I really don't want to touch. It is a smartphone mount holder. This is part of their Spider series. Spider podiums. These little things. Now, if it would have had 6 legs, I probably would touch it. But it has 8 legs. Not a fan. Yeah. Not a fan. But thank you. I just don't... Anything with 8 legs. I don't know. Why is it 8 that freaks me out? What's the difference? I mean, I look at an ant. Whoa, it's an ant. Ooh, it's an ant. 6 legs. Well, not be... As soon as it turns into 8, I flip the hell out.
What about 10?
10's okay, I guess.
But that means more legs, faster.
I don't know, dude. This is just... It's just... To me, this is just wrong. Yeah. Great, Jerry.
Jerry's here?
I don't know if that's Jerry, but it's someone. So, don't lose... We're going to lose chat privileges in, 3, 2, 1... I'm warning them.
Ryan said this is getting weird now.
That's what I'm saying. So basically, it can be used for a variety of reasons, including mounting your smartphone in various positions and places, like on your bike. We don't have a bike. On a desk as a holder, potentially as a stand. So that's pretty useful. That's pretty handy. And then they have one that's larger for, of course, tablet computers in various experiences. So I don't know how they couldn't figure out to use it with 6. Look, alien. I can't believe I'm doing this, but... I was going to try to do alien. Okay, now it's getting weird. I look like a wrestler now. This is my wrestler mask. Nope, maybe not. There you go. Play with the spider. Okay. Wow. Earl Green asks, have you watched any of the new sci-fi series, The 100? I have not. Not yet. I understand, though, that it looks like a pretty good series, according to Earl. Joe Blue asks, now with baby Pirillo on the way, Chris, it seems like you are a very busy person. Yes, I am. How do you spend time with Diana and focus on your work? Because I work at home, I'm able to kind of float in and out and go around and do all that stuff. Vlogging is also a good way of staying engaged. Or married. Yes. Okay, great. So...
We eat dinner together.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it off. So, the idea behind... having a baby is to extend the family. And I think as a family, we're probably more around each other than most normal families, so to speak, which is both good and bad. I mean, I don't think we've ever had the issue of spending too much time together, or not enough time together. Like, we never spend time together. That's never been an argument, right? It's more like, we're spending too much time together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why vlogging is kind of worked. But I know that the baby is going to be, extra attention, extra time, and I'm doubling down on the amount of video that I'm doing because, of course, that helps pay the bills. We'll continue to do these videos. Of course, I think at some point in the future, doing these videos is going to be a bit more of a challenge because doing it live, not a big deal because, we have a baby. There will be a baby crying in the background or cooing or whatever. But at some point, when I have to do videos for clients, we're going to have to figure something else out because those are like, okay, I have to, like, it's not just live, it's not just us, it's like, I'm getting paid to not have a baby cry in the background.
And the baby's like, nope.
Yeah,
I feel like crying.
Baby's gonna go for a drive or a walk or a downstairs or something on the other side of the house.
I have a question for them.
Okay.
Do they think they could spend as much time as we do with their significant other?
Could you? It's you think you could, but
well, I've seen some vloggers that say they can't.
They can't what?
Spend that much time together with him. Like they moved out and lived separately.
Well, yeah, because it's like you're sharing space with somebody else.
Wondering.
Well, it's not easy.
See, I can tolerate you, but I don't think I.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you tolerate me.
I don't think I can live with someone and hang out with them every day.
Well, yeah, we found a groove. Everyone, you just find your groove, and I think vlogging kind of helps. It's a common goal that keeps us together, and we're now, officially now with Diana launching her YouTube channel, I don't know what you're at now for subscribers, but we're going to be setting her up on a Patreon account or campaign, and the thing about having this time with Diana is that our family is now turning into, not a family business, but our lifestyle is enabled by our careers. And so now we're a video family, video production. We're doing stuff for ourselves. We're doing stuff for you, of course. And then at some point, as it continues, I've been hired out by a variety of companies for various needs. Our family is going to evolve that direction, and we're actually building a production company around us. And it's a part of I guess a new type of generation. I wouldn't say it's good or bad, but I can tell you what, I'm very glad it's this and not anything else where Diana would have to go away or I would have to go away for 8 hours a day doing something that wasn't necessarily enjoyable, or weeks. I'm very glad to have. So there's good and bad. I mean, it's up and down, and I don't know if anybody could do what we do. I mean, they could, but it isn't easy, and it's not always fun.
I think we give each other our space, too.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do. Diana knows that when I'm in here, that it's okay to interrupt if she's vlogging. Because we need footage. Don't have enough. Joseph Smiley asks, Chris, I have a request. Can you change the playlist order of your vlogs? We can try, because he's trying to get it uploaded oldest to newest, but I'm not sure how YouTube's working in that way. By the way, I uploaded a 3-second teaser to the other channel today, and some people just disliked it. I'm like, why? I'm like, because YouTube now enables you to upload a 3-second video at the beginning of every video. You could be anything. And so I made it such that, I'm like, thanks. I just said, thank you. And it was a little post-it note saying, for remembering to like, comment, share, blah, 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 blah. But it was something simple, and I wanted to get it out there. And so I uploaded it. I guess I could have made it unlisted. But to me, it's just baffling how many people press the dislike button with reckless abandon. Like, their whole lives depend on it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you're subscribed to this channel, obviously, unless, of course, you're not. But either way, why take the time to say that you dislike a 3-second teaser video that you're going to see in every subsequent video in that particular channel? I don't know. I find people who dislike kind of... I have a problem with them in the use of that button. I've gone into that before. I don't want to, like, beat that dead horse again. Sruli Lowy asks, sorry if I messed up your name, are you a registered Apple developer and will you be using iOS 8 and or the OS 10.10 Yosemite? I've talked about this already this week. I am a registered Apple developer. I will be using iOS 8 and OS 10.10 when they're final. Not likely going to install the betas up until maybe like later betas as I get more and more interested, but right now I think I'm happy to wait until they're final. So, now, let's see here. I'm going to turn on the chat. I'm assuming everybody's disappeared. See it? There we go. There we go. See, now they're... I said I was very clear. Popping over to the Facebook thread for the Ask Me Anything. Thank you, people who asked me questions over there. Michael Larson asks, boy or girl? We'll find out. or at least patrons will find out if we hit 1,000 before then. Can you present yourself, please? Asks Manuta Krejciki. Huh? Some people don't really know. Virendra Gurshet asks, what about Nexus 8? What about it? What's the question? There may be one, maybe not be one. I thought Google was not going to do Nexus anymore. Michael Larson asks, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Superman. Not really a question. Dan Kivini, Red Bull or Monster? I don't know. I don't really drink either one. I'm not an energy drink fan. My energy drink is a coffee. That's my energy drink right now. I mean, I've tried drinks in the past, but it's just, you know, ultimately, I don't drink energy drinks. That's me. Stan Tony Hansen asks, Catwoman, not a question. Cole T. McNamara asks, what do you think of the Millennium Falcon being in Episode 7? Well, that may or may not be true. This was an image that was posted with a kind note from J.J. Abrams requesting that people on the inside stop posting like leak shots or behind-the-scenes photos from Star Wars Episode 7. And this note that he took was taken, or basically placed atop the chess table in the Millennium Falcon that we saw in A New Hope. Do you love Apple Inc.? Saul Monroy asks. Yes, I love Apple as much as I love Google, as much as I love Microsoft, as much as I love Amazon, as much as I love any company. Who are you? Asks Moeed Arish. Chris Pirillo. Marcus Shader asks, here's a simple question for you. How's your day going? Great so far. I got to record a video after this. What would I do if I was on a reality show? I got to record that. Ooh, I guess we're about a half hour here. Let me answer a few more questions from the community here. See if I can find some good ones out of the list of the open thread on Facebook. Oscar Tsang asks, what makes you want to continue what you do as a YouTuber? Because it's fun. It's a great way of connecting with other people. It's a great way of interacting with other people. You know, I've had to evolve how I engage with YouTube. YouTube is not everything in my life, like it may be for some. That's very dangerous. When your entire, career is based on somebody else's platform, that's very dangerous. Consider some issues that came up with Mojang, or I guess it's Mojang. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Minecraft, they changed the EULA and are forcing people to accept the EULA, which also means that they have to accept the fact that they can't make money directly off of Minecraft, which could cause some issues for people who basically offer pay-for-upgrade services by hosting their own Minecraft servers. Now, that would be directly against the EULA. So, is that good? Is that bad? Well, Minecraft has every right to do that, or I guess Mojang has every right to do that. It's their brand, it's their company. I mean, yes, the community helped build it, but it's their thing. So it's very dangerous when you put your eggs in one basket, and that's exactly what happens. This is one of the reasons why, yes, YouTube's a great platform. Yes, Patreon's a great platform, but I'm trying to make sure I've got stability on multiple platforms instead of just one, because I think it's important, especially in a career. Bernard McDowell, and this may be the last question, because a lot of them are other questions that I've answered before. I'm sorry, guys. Bernard McDowell asks, will the new Diana YouTube channel be filmed in your workshop or her private space? It's a little awkward, but I know the cooking part will not be in her office, lol. So that's up to Diana. She cooked something, and that's going to be her first video, a cooking video. Don't know when. That's going to be going into her channel. She's pretty much in control. I think some of it will be in the kitchen. It'll be filmed with one of our typical vlogging cameras. But I also recommended that she use like her iPad or iPhone to record a video. Like if she's in her workshop or office or whatever the hell she's calling it. She hasn't been going back there, but
I think I just need to open the windows. It's just the smell makes me really nauseous.
What smell?
I think it might have to. It might be the candles or the incense.
So we gotta get rid of the candles and the incense, the things that you wanted. Okay.
Well, I'm pregnant.
God, like the very things that she wanted. That'd be like me buying a whole bunch of, like, I can't go in the office. There's too many Vader things.
Well, I contradicted myself last night because I was making bacon.
Yeah, just last night.
And it was making me nauseous, but then I turn around and eat pork rinds.
Yeah, she's saying, all these food smells just disgust me. And we didn't vlog this, but then, yeah, that's right, she started popping. I'm like, this is the most foul stench we have in the house, and you're popping it into your mouth willingly. She did laugh at that. That was pretty funny. So I'm going to go ahead and close her out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us in chat. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, watching more of our videos right now, being a patron if you can. I appreciate you spending time with us today live on YouTube. And now I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.